Hey, Dan, Brad, what's going on today?
Scott, once again, thank you very much. Good buddy Brad, audio, check,
Hey
check,
Dan,
check,
coming
check.
through loud and clear.
Everyone, this is going to be a special show, possibly the best show you've ever seen on any webinar ever. So therefore, I'm just going to get right down to it. Trade Ideas is not a registered investment advisor. None of the information you're going to see on this incredible, best ever possible webinar that you've ever seen ever should be construed as solicitation to buy or sell securities. If you want that advice, please consult a registered investment advisor. Brad, I see the gentleman raising his hand on the screen.
Yeah, he has a question.
Oh, wait. Oh, I need to click. In case anyone needs to read. Brad, one of the things that I love about what we do is that we learned a lot of lessons in our previous venture when Brad and I were part of a $50 million Menlo Ventures company that taught us a lot of what not to do. So one of the reasons why you are here and seeing some of the coolest stuff in technology and software ever, the coolest stuff really, is because we have no board meetings. What you see here is a pack of wolves hunting, right, Brad?
That's what it looks like to me.
Now let me tell you who's who, because again, part of what we do with Trade Ideas is we sort of introduce people to people.
Now, I'm out of the Duke world and into the wolf world, huh?
Right. Well, we got to break it up a little bit, Brad. So, but you're gonna like this. Now, you see the wolf in the front, the one who's like looks like he doesn't even know where he's running, but he's ahead of everybody.
Let me guess. That's you.
No. That's
No.
our software development.
Ah, you're humble too.
I'm totally humble. You know that. It was my brilliant idea to tell you.
I'm not going to argue with you on both accounts.
Okay. Important stuff happening here. So, in the company here, our technology is leading the pack. They're running so fast that it's sometimes literally we can't catch them. But the beauty is that I run with a pack of killers. And Brad, I see your sharp killer eyes. Look at you. See, I see you. Do you see you? I see you. You're right there looking nasty. That's Brad over there on the left. Looking nasty, like he knows exactly what he needs to do. Versus software development, which you realize they know how to run like hell, but they need a little direction, if you know what I'm saying. Is this coming together, Brad? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm following
and
you. Makes sense.
Finally, ladies and gentlemen, you see that guy over there who's actually looking at the person who's talking on the webinar? That's me. That's the wolf who's looking through the screen. I'm looking right at me. That's the company. No board meetings. We are in full stride. And this is how we feel. And you're going to know why we feel this way. Brad, can I get a little...
Yeah, it's true, man.
That is what it feels like to be Trade Ideas. Scott knows it. Barry knows it. Well, Barry's nodding right now in silence. I can feel it all the way from Canada. Scott, also nodding symbolically. Brad and I are howling the crap out of this. This is what it's like to be Trade Ideas right now. And do you know why, Brad? Because we figured it out. We figured out what other companies don't know how to do. Secret broken at the bottom.
A lot of hard work.
We've weaponized autism. Our CTO is Godzilla. And this is the stuff that's coming out of his mouth. Those are nodes of code that destroy our competition. Other people in the fintech business world looking for your subscription dollars, telling you that they have a service that might be comparable to what you're going to see here today. The answer is hell no. Would you like to play a game? A game of seeing some unbelievable things? Is everybody ready? Brad, are you ready?
I'm sitting down and I'm ready.
Get your popcorn, everybody. Let's start to enjoy the show. All right. Let me know when and if you can see what I'm showing you. This is an important part of it. I need to know that you see what I'm showing you.
Coming through to me.
All right. So look, we've been saying this forever and ever and ever, and repetition is a form of prayer. So we're going to continue on that theme. We have figured out the way to give investors the best opportunity to capitalize on supply and demand inefficiencies in stocks. That's all I can say. We have it. We have figured it out. It's a process that has not been replicated by any other firm in the history of finance, because to have done so would have been to have been doing what we have been doing all along, and nobody's been doing it. Brad and I have been mentioning this for a while. Now, mind you, I'm not talking about anything yet other than just setup here, but understand this. You are seeing an evolved now artificial intelligence, which gave you, in this particular case, 30 trades in this channel called Holly Neo, which is the third iteration level of the artificial intelligence. It would not be, I have to tell you guys honestly, that if I was going to tell you what made this AI part different from the other AIs, I would be doing you a disservice right now. So I'm going to purposely make Brad Williams do it. Tell you, why is Holly Neo Brad so good? How did she pluck those 10 points out of the market? Because it's kind of insane.
Good. Well, you know, it's interesting because all three of the different Holly banks that we have accessible through the channel bar kind of all do similar things, and they all do different things at the same time. But specific to Holly Neo, we have the ability to try different types of risk metrics, different types of stops, different types of hold times, the different number of strategies or different number of trades that get generated per strategy. So we have the ability to do a little bit of tinkering in the lab, and it's just being manifested right here, and you can see that it's pretty solid. And Holly 2.0 is very similar in that it does the same thing with respect to artificial intelligence, but what's different is it's also looking at different strategies in addition to having different rule sets and different stops and targets applied to them.
Brad, that's, I mean, that's a very, very high level and like precise technical explanation. I want to kind of jump a little bit into the helicopter from that point of view. The thing is this, guys, think about this. If you were here, obviously, you know, either, let's pretend all of us are kind of good traders. Well, all of us have also seen other good traders, like when we've grown up and traded around people. I've known a bunch of guys who were really, really good, and something happened that they're not doing it anymore for whatever reason. But when they were good, they were doing certain things, and all of these things have been incorporated into this technology. This technology mimics the best characteristics of a human trader. Now, as Brad was saying, and I'm kind of getting into Gary's stuff, you cannot, Gary, quantify how the entries are different. It's really which stocks and the behavior. Every single entry for every single AI suggestion is really its own fingerprint, right, Brad? I mean, the names, like, yes, you have a couple of strategies that are the quarterback strategy, and then the breakout. This is all done, ladies and gentlemen, to help humans characterize and understand. Because remember, we're translating artificial intelligence into human speak. Brad, am I making sense to you?
Yeah, no, you're making sense. And the reality is there's not just one way to blueprint something. And so in that regard, if you happen to see the same strategy in two different AI banks, you're going to find that those two strategies, while they may be similar in nature, they're going to be different in specifics. That means some of the filters, some of the AI criteria are going to be different, because what we're doing is what we did before, which was take all these strategies and run the AI through it and come up with the different strategies for the next day. Well, now we've triplicated that on a variety of additional servers. So you're really getting 3 times the bang for your buck, but they're not going to be the same exact strategies.
No, absolutely. Brad, how would you answer Gary's last question?
Yeah, you're gonna find that both with Neo and with Holly 2.0, and we are to document all of this, you're gonna find that they're also targeting some higher price stocks, so the volatility is gonna be a little bit greater than what you're gonna find on the initial Holy Grail channel.
I wanna bring something up that we talk about the fact that Brad and I kind of like break news here all the time. There's a reason why you should be coming here and telling your friends to come here and all that good stuff. I'm going to jump to a couple of Gary's questions. Gary, no worries about that. I always do all caps by accident sometimes. I can't see. But we want to break some news for you guys. Is everyone ready for? Brad, are you ready for breaking news?
Sure, man.
Breaking news. So part of the Trade Ideas motto, creed, who we are as a company, the people inside it, is that we're not just out there for the money. If we were, honestly, and we've said this before, we would have kept everything in-house, done a hedge fund, and just done it ourselves. But we're not about that. We're about a generational change, a technological change, opening people's eyes, and I mean, of course, also improving as a business. But to do that, we want to help all of our customers. So it is with a lot of excitement that I am going to tell you guys that we are going to be adding full price alert functionality to the regular subscription very, very shortly. Brad, I don't know exactly when the details of that are, but I know since we agreed upon it, I am allowed to say it.
Yeah, I think we're targeting the next open house, but can't.
Okay, yeah, well, good. But so that's that, and again, this isn't anything crazy other than we're moving towards expanding the functionality of both the superpower version like you have with all the AIs, and of course we don't want to forget about the people who use the regular non-premium functionality. Also, Brad and I are working on a product where you're going to get like a trade of the day type of service from the AI, and we're working on that as something, again, that there's no configuration to this, but it's a very, very low priced sort of thing. We don't know what it is yet, but it's a mass market product, but still get a taste of the AI. Brad, isn't that what we were talking about?
That's what we're talking about.
Okay, fantastic. So that's what's going on, improving the product for the masses. But of course, I have to really focus back on the incredible performance today of the software. Now, one thing to keep in mind, look at if you start here. In the beginning, Holly Neo had some negativity. So something to understand is that the flow of the P&L, there's never this is why we talk about, Brad, the systematic approach, right? I want to show you guys something just so you can understand, like, what would have today felt like from the point of view of pure returns based on time. Let's look at it from the point of view of just risk on dollars. So the first trade signal got in today. Yeah, I'm going to pause this idea surfing. And Brad, don't you think it's a good idea so people can kind of visualize it for themselves? Now we have to pretend. Now we have to pretend that we're taking everything so that you can kind of understand the flow. So here we go. First trade would have been 5. This is what it looked like on the daily. And let me see what happened. Did it also
after?
Must have after. Wow. Gee, that would have been a good one.
Your single stock. Let me move that thing. But I think
so. The closing price was 242, and its earnings date, it's 0.75 means it's today at some point, because this number comes out
today after hours.
Yeah, after hours. By the way, Brad, we should say that here.
I know.
But don't worry, guys. Remember that wolf that's running where it doesn't exactly see where it's running? And Brad, why do everything has a meaning? Okay, so this Holly trade, that your first trade today, had you held it, just for demonstration purposes, so that you can see exactly how good of stuff I'm pointing out, happens to have been what, Brad? 5, which you got into at 718 at $80.59. It closed risk on today at $81.28 for a big gain, and then gapped up to 95. All right, so that's our presentation for the evening.
Yeah,
Any other questions?
End there, huh?
I think we've covered everything. Let's see. Yeah. And silence. Okay, so moving right along, because we don't cheer that kind of stuff. Let me adjust so you can see it a little bit better. So edit. Next trade was edit, and edit turned out to be a 40-cent loser. Okay?
Stopped out.
Stopped out. That's it. Those happen. Boom. Hit, and notice why we don't hold it. Brad, why don't we hold it? Because you're stopped out.
Well, you want to apply your capital to some other opportunities.
Right, and also this is the proper behavior. Remember, we talked about that this computer has all of the proper behavior that you need to have built in, and also as you watch it, you can visualize what that behavior is. You know why you got in, because it crossed your entry line. You know why you got out, because it crossed your stop. Okay? So, that's the next one. So now if you held both of these, and again, hypothetically, if there were only 2 that you had tried, your net would have been what, Brad? Plus 28 cents. Right?
Yep.
The next trade.
At the end of the day.
Right. The next trade, arguably one of the best entries I've seen. What can you say about this, Brad, right here?
You can say it was probably on support.
Well, right, but the beauty is that support was from way over here, which is what the software does. And look at this pattern, right? Isn't it extremely counterintuitive to the eye? Like most visual people wouldn't be hunting it there.
Well, that's one of the great things about the strategy makeup that we have. We're looking for all these different types of concepts. We're not just looking for breakouts, although we have that strategy concept, but oftentimes we're looking for pullback to particular regions, like in this case, support. So yeah, all the different concepts are involved.
Right. So now add 76 cents to your 28 cents, and you've got $1.06. And now you're okay. So here in the 3, and again, I'm just going one by one. You're up $1.06. You're here once again. You're getting in. No stop out. Big movement up. Only 16 cents, but by the way, also you can see some potential of what happened throughout the day. So, and then you just started sprinting. 88, 64, 60. And you had a loser, and then winner, and then it just got ridiculous. But here's another beautiful thing. Just think about this in terms of percentages. Look at this compared to the worst cases. Guys, I don't, whatever you would consider be something of a stock picking something, we have the best one of those in all of the world. Brad, am I off somewhere?
Well, it's a hard working AI that is just working throughout the night to optimize every strategy, and yeah, it find some incredible opportunities.
Do the most reps, guys. This is where Brad and I were kind of having an interesting brain powwow. Imagine sit-ups or push-ups. Think about a bodybuilder. Do you know what really separates you from the bodybuilder? Honestly, Brad, it's the number of reps. Tiger Woods, over his life, do you know how many more golf shots he's taken than you?
Are you talking about me specifically?
Yes, you specifically don't.
Quite a few.
Quite a few, like really a lot more than probably, like if you visually put them together, it would be so quite a few that you're like, Jesus, does that guy eat? Do you know what I'm saying? Like if you saw how many, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it takes to be that excellent. Anybody. I cannot answer Pedro's question. Brad, I can't bring myself to do it.
You mean Holly doesn't make money every single day?
But the interesting thing is, where did our history go?
It's there. You gotta, yeah.
Time frame. When was that? Down 3 days ago. Let's go to the first. Hey, Pedro.
And then you have to remember what AI you were looking at too. That's a whole other issue.
So I'm going to start on the 5th and end on the 1st. Now, which segment?
Stretch out the entry time to make sure you have the right date. I don't think you do, but.
Hold on. I don't have the right date, do I? So this is the history from, but by the way, as I'm playing around with this myself, history from the 1st to the 5th. So you can really get kind of specific on it. The problem is, what I'm trying to do is say, well, what was the down day for the market when there was a lot of shorts? I don't remember which day it was. That's the thing. And we don't yet have a calendar view, do we, Brad?
Not yet. A lot coming though.
But you can, again, say, like, for example, today is the 1st and going back in time, and it's 5, let's say. So that's like a whole month, right? And here you can go look at how well you did on the shorts. Do you see what I'm saying, Pedro?
And you can stretch out that entry time column. You're going to get the date in there, you know, so you have some more relativity.
Sorry about that. Now I see what you were saying.
It's all right.
You can, you know, you can say something like this. So you have a lot of flexibility to do all of this type of research. You know, see what kind of points, what kind of percentages. You know, and obviously what was on the downside, because there's always downside too. You know, don't forget, you take losers, but you take them the proper way. That's the whole point. It's how all of this is dealt together. Without the losses, you really almost cannot have the gains, right, Brad? Because it's like the yin yang of it.
Yeah, it's all about rule management, right? You want to let the winners run. You want to cut your losers. You don't want to stick in those losers.
Yep. So again, I'm going to show you how we're switching screens. So this was the original AI, the one that we had prior to the other two, and it kicked butt also. And by the way, it kicked butt in risk off mode too. So again, in this case, even if you were just following the rules very stringently, meaning that you were getting in and getting out on the exit time in risk off mode, meaning so that's one of the things you have to understand. Whenever you're getting out, other than, like, again, either a profit target or in a risk on situation towards the end of the day, well, then your exit time will be some sort of a risk management construct, right, Brad? I mean, that's the only reason why you exit.
Yeah, and you know, today you have to, a lot of times you look at the market as a leading indicator, and when it doesn't give you a reason and your positions don't give you a reason to get out as time is going on, you know, it's just more indication that you want to stick into it, into more of a risk-on mode. But, you know, a risk-on mode doesn't always mean that you just simply hold it and get out at the very end of the day. It just means you're holding it longer, you're feeling like there's more follow-through to a lot of the activity that's occurring.
I want to kind of give some perspective, Brad. So S&P 500 is made out of how many stocks? 500. So 500. And it took 500 of those to get you 2.33. 0.85%.
Yeah, probably better to say it got you 0.85%.
0.85%, yeah. So again, although 2.33 is decent in terms of pointages, if you're just going for pure points, 0.85% is not that much. If you look at the 14 trades from our original AI, and going back to what I was saying, why you're here, this is what you want to be doing. This is what you want to focus on, because your odds are just going to be that much better. Look at this trade. Brad, you spoke to me about it. What did you say?
I said it's, well, I actually spoke to you a couple times. It was a great call for one, but also there were some other interesting happenings throughout the day, you know, that I had set up through my price alerts that were interesting pivot points of that stock.
And what happened over here?
It's a buy suggestion. AI buy.
So this is not the first time Holly's been in it. If you had been following Holly, and remember, there's so many ways to do it. You can swing trade these, because now look, for this cool polarity Inc., what's the swing exit? 22.15. When you were here, Brad, it would have had a different swing exit, right? It would have been somewhere over here.
Yeah, it's based off of the current data, what's happening in that stock, its volatility, its support and resistance levels and such.
But it's nice to know that, like, look, it's telling you the right things to do. So all of these right things that are embedded in the software are the things that a trader would learn through many, many lifetimes of trading. Brad, give Aaron a good risk off.
You bet. So let me give you the risk off, risk on kind of definition.
Yeah. So right now I'm risk off, and I'm gonna let me do something real quick. I'm gonna help you, buddy. Hold on. Let me help. Move the S&P because we really. So they can see some things better. You know?
Okay, but I'm going to talk first. I'm just going to.
Sure. But you have color guides here, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Too.
Okay, that's great. So over on the left, we have this AI strategy window that gives you a list of all the different strategies that are present in the AI today, and each one of those strategies it's been optimized. It's been run through the odds maker with a particular time stop. That means 60 minutes, 45 minutes, hold till the end of the day. These are all the different types of parameters that we input into the AI when it's deciding how it wants to optimize a particular strategy. So if in fact there's a 60-minute time stop, the risk off data is going to show you that exit after 60 minutes, and it's going to kind of stop at that point in time and let you know where that exit was and give you the profitability at that time expiration. Now that's if it gets to the time stop, but we do have a couple other algorithms that might exit that position early.
Brad, let me ask you a quick question that I think goes that some people don't exactly understand, and I'm also really comment real quick on Tony's question as well. So Tony's looking at cool, and he's saying, yo homies, why is your swing exit so out of the money, especially for those 2 trades on 4, in April? And Tony, so remember, the swing exit is thinking about today. When those trades happen, it would have been lower. It would have not been the line that you see today. So it's adjusting its perspective based on today's information, because it's sort of assuming that you're looking at the data to buy or sell for the first time. It's not. It knows it's not real. I can't even speak English, Brad. It knows it's not real, and it knows it's there to help you versus pretend that it's Steve Cohen and flip dollar bills everywhere. So the point is, those swing exits, whenever you see them, they have been adjusted to today's data, yet we show you the historical AI data at the time that initial trades happen, so you can see both negative and positive AI trades.
Yeah, and it also looks, like you said earlier, at support and resistance levels here. And you can kind of look back on this. This is you look at a 6-month chart, a little more than that, and you can see all of the daily resistance and support levels that go into making that data point. And because the volatility of that stock was so much more than normal today, the range of the stock, the difference between the low and the high was a lot more than normal. It's basically telling you that this stock is going to be more volatile, and you should be aware of that going in. That doesn't mean that if you're going to take that position, you need to utilize that, but it's just giving you some more data and information on how that stock is trading and what to expect.
How about this? I mean, I also want to point something else out, and this is, again, why it is that you guys are here, because you need to hear it from us and listen. Is a picture being painted for you? When was the first time you were even alerted about this crazy stock? Like, this isn't one of the popular ones. Cool, you know, you don't really hear about it on CNBC.
All right, let me go back to the risk on, risk off. Cool, with cool in this chart specific, because you brought it up, it's big, and it's got these great AI annotations on it that give us more information than most of you may or may not be aware of. And if you'll notice, there's different gradient colors of that green and red. Can you point out where it kind of changes, Dan?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you can see it kind of it's dark right there, and then it's light right there, and what that point in time indicates is really where the risk off ends, right? So risk on is going to take you to the end of the day, but risk off ends right there where that dark green kind of translucent color comes to an end.
Right, and excuse me. One of the reasons why we didn't annotate that is that we found that there's just too much stuff in the chart. You know, we're really trying to keep it simple while at the same time providing a lot of information.
Yeah, and that information is inclusive of, you know, that blue line that you see there that has the AI. That's letting you know where that signal occurred. The blue arrow pointing up is giving you the candle that it occurred on. And then we're also populating a stop. That's the suggested AI stop. That's the red line. Yep, and then we've got a profit target. If that strategy has been optimized with a particular profit target, like $1, $2, 2%, 10%, or something like that, then that's going to be the line that populates up at the top right there.
Yep. But one of the things, again, Brad, that just sticks out at me, and I just want to say this again, remember, go back here real quick. Guys, you heard about this from us at 346. It was behaving in an interesting way that it perked up to the AI, not here, but something happened here. Brad, on November 9th, 2016, I just want you all to understand that that was at $3. You know, you're talking about longer term investing, swing trading, whatever. I mean, from 3, you're pressing your bets. We've talked about the fact that the professionals know that it's not just about getting right, and risk management is you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to press them, know when to double down them, know when to split them, Brad. It's all complicated. I'm just joking. But look, do you see what it's telling you? It's like the AI, and Steve says this very well, and Jamie and Andy, Sean, everybody that you interact with. We talk about the fact that this one-of-a-kind technology is a canary in the coal mine, but not always for death. You know, it's telling you, hey, there's gold up in this here. Look at this. Boom. Look at this. I mean, you realize, right, that can't be faked.
Now we call that footprints in the sand.
That's right. So that's the other thing, is regardless of what level of a subscriber you are to Trade Ideas, we put our signals for you to see whether you're basic or premium. So we kind of give you the AI annotations regardless. This is the original one, the one that did 2.62 in risk off mode and 4.92. They're all performing so well. And understand too is that it's ready for the short side all the time. This is something else that I can't overemphasize this enough. When we as people win, we release a chemical called dopamine to remind us of what the hell it is that we were doing. But that chemical is very powerful, right? So for example, if you had won shorting the market, well, Brad, what would you have an affinity towards?
I think that I would be shorting. I'd be thinking short. I'd be looking.
That's right. You would always have that little bit of a twitch bias based on some positive reward experience that you had with it. Okay? Our AI takes all of that away. It is the master MIT card counter sitting at a one deck out in Tulsa Indian Reservation Casino, where it has all of its security cameras broken. And they just got stocked up with cash. So, Tony, lots of things happening. You have more than you know. When can you see all of them? We're working on lots of internal changes. Remember, we have to evolve them. So creating them was the first problem. Now you can see all of them. And we're going to make it easier for you to hone in on the one that you should be focused on. So that's a great question. That tells us that you're really paying attention. We appreciate that. And that's the kind of thing that gets rewarded by the market. And I mean that not like in a sarcastic way. I'm saying that by being able to notice those little things, you'll able to spot or calmly be able to let the software help you allocate your capital. That's all it's doing. So Aaron, the difference between risk on and risk off is risk off, meaning you want to avoid risk. So you're applying very stringent rules. When the stock declines a little bit, you might get out. When there's all sorts of risk aversion behavior in risk off mode. Okay? But in risk on mode, it's going to go stay in the game. Judy, Brad, Judy, are you a mind reader? Judy and I are like doing that.
Judy's feeling your vibration.
Judy, yes, you're at the right place. That's what's coming. Guys, you know, we kind of figured it out that it doesn't seem like just, you know, well, I don't want to take this the wrong way. The ultimate expression of this has to be just the capital applied to it doing everything on its own. Letting it do its thing on behalf of you with your capital. And the beautiful thing that Brad and I, actually, we dove deep into the weeds on this one, Brad. Long section in the wigwam sweating, where we realized that there will come a time where Holly trades against herself a little bit. But that should still be okay. Because again, it's about capital allocation. She'll exercise the risk. The question is when various risk levels are triggered. One person's risk is another person's opportunity. Brad, do you see what I'm saying?
I do. So Judy, while we haven't implemented the ability to automate this yet, we are definitely a step closer by releasing and implementing these 3 different AIs. So that's something that gets us closer to the mark. But we do have a connection through a tool that we've created called Brokerage Plus that's available to the premium subscribers. And that doesn't allow you to automate it, the AI signals, but it does allow you to automate a strategy that you create, or you can just right-click on any idea that comes through the AI and really quickly get your trade off to the market with your own rules assigned to it, your own stops, your own targets, your own time expirations, if that's what you want to have. Yeah, so Tony, it's very possible. You know, each strategy doesn't necessarily, well, it doesn't know what the other strategies are doing. And, you know, essentially when all of the filter criteria come together and the event occurs, whatever that event is, it's going to spit out that symbol. So it's very, very possible that it could happen. It doesn't happen that regularly, but could certainly happen where it finds the same symbol in 2 different strategies.
It's almost
It's
like a
even gone
little
long and short before. It really doesn't, they're not connected. The strategies aren't connected to each other.
it's almost independent consensus, right, Brad?
Yeah.
Like fully independent, they both found each other because they're looking with similar powerful tools, whereas everybody else has no such tools.
Yeah, no glitch.
No, no glitch. I mean, but it's good to point that out. And again, we appreciate the level of detail to the questions and what you guys are doing because you're interacting with this amazing tech. And here's something else too. This is especially for Judy. Judy, something important is that, you know, we only recently, Brad, how long has it been since we've annotated the trays with this color?
A year?
Maybe a year.
10 months?
A year, right? Maybe a year, maybe a little, I don't know. But I just want to say that in terms of overall productization, we've been around 18 years. I mean, no, 15 years, sorry. I can't add. We've been around 15 years. And only in the last year did we just start putting on the accelerator and adding these visualizations so that you can visually conceptualize what the AI is doing. This is important because we want you to be able to let it automate your trades and be able to see what it's doing visually. Like you will be able to have a visualized look at what the AI is up to and know exactly what's going on. And then, of course, by the time all of that's done, also have your real trade also, so you can almost see like what will be the spread between the real versus the lines, you know, that your AI is looking at. You see what I'm saying, Brad?
Yep.
See how I help? I always like to help Brad, give him new ideas.
Can we move on? No.
No, but that's the thing. Yeah, the one-click connection is with IB, and it trades quite a bit. So it's been tested and it's been around, and we're just going to make it better and better and better. I can't even imagine how excited I am to bring automation to what you guys are seeing here. We're just scratching the surface, and so.
You want to bring up Brokerage Plus real quick, and I'll just give Judy a 2-minute real kind of quickie on it. We don't need to connect or anything, but I kind of just want to go over how that menu populates, that right-click menu, when you click on a position. So if you go to the Strategies tab, just to the Strategies tab, yeah, out of the box, it comes with these, or it looks like you've changed it, but it comes with 4 different strategies, and those strategies right there can all be modified. So if you right-click on any of them, go ahead and right-click on any of them, go to Edit Trading Strategy. This is where you would define the instructions for that right-click order. So up the top, you tell it whether you're going long or short. You tell it, you give it a name. The initiate trades between, for this purpose here,
I was showing her how easy it is.
Yeah, yeah, and so for this purpose right here, that initiate trades between, you would want to have that wide open. So from 6:30 to 1 o'clock, we're on the West Coast, so that's our trading hours. You want to have that wide open. Fill everything else out here. Is it going to be a limit order? How many shares? Is it going to be a dollar quantity? All of those parameters, you fill it out. Now go ahead and OK or cancel out of this, Dan. And then just right-click on one of the AI trades today. Yeah, you don't even need to see that. So right-click there and go to trade. And you're going to see the short position down there is that instruction that Dan modified. And if he was connected to the Brokerage Plus or to the IB account, that wouldn't be a grayed out menu item. It would be active and ready to go.
Yep. So that's how it looks. And here, I'll say, just so everyone can see, again, edit.
So Tony, at this point, I have taken out the advanced exits. We've just kind of remarked it in the code, so we'll be bringing it back at some point, but it's out of it right now. We'll definitely be bringing it back, though.
And to make it better, again, because we continue to improve. So here, you see cool, boom, boom, or boom. Does everybody see that?
Buy $5,000 worth of stock at the market, or do it a limit +2 or a limit -2. All these things are.
There's all the different things that you can do. And again, order entry, see market, you can say limit, good for how many seconds, where is it in terms of the market, stop, all sorts of things you can do.
It's pretty self-explanatory. It's really just about making sure you're connected to your IB account. You've got your
500 fixed dollars here, 5,000, okay, and then cool, boom.
You didn't change the text.
I didn't change the name, but that's the idea.
But yeah. So when you say Holly limits, if you're talking like smart stops and things like that, if you scroll down to the stop loss, Dan, right here on that screen, before you hit OK, go to the stop loss area. Yeah, now select that and go to filter. And from here, well, that's right. And then you can select like the smart stop dollar, for instance.
Or you can say like you want to get out if the S&P does something.
Well, it's what you have to do is, I mean, yes, you can, but this is an area that gets a little bit more advanced and complex.
Yeah,
and really,
what you're saying, conceptually speaking.
Yeah. But we have this thing called custom formulas that allow you to script out a filter based on the different filters and variables that we have. So you could get really.
Look at this. I have this thing called thrust factor. That's a custom formula, I'm pretty sure. Isn't it?
It is, but you have to make sure that it kind of fits the methodology of a stop. Is it going to be?
Sure. No, but I'm just saying, as an example, like we have tons of technology that give you so much power, and this is just an example of so many things that you can do. You don't have to do any of this or use this, but the capabilities are rather intense, especially since you can even use fundamental data in your formulas.
Yeah,
that's
so
what I was trying to say.
You're asking about, and so that we answered how I think you asked the question, how to use the Holly limits. But if you're also maybe talking about the way that Holly gets out of trades, sometimes with the profit save and with the reduced risk, that's what the other gentleman was talking about with respect to the advanced exits, and that's something that we currently have in the lab, and we will be bringing that back out to Brokerage Plus, allowing you to get out of your positions on profit saves and reduce risks like that.
One of the cool things that, again, separates us from all the other boys is because we have server technology, and servers means that the working part of the software is not on your machine, but it's behind the scenes in our laboratory in San Diego. So what that means is that we have a P&L watcher. So we can say, oh, well, look, this position is down this much. Okay, we have to do something. Whereas other people aren't exactly focused that way. Like, for example, of course, you can have a P&L monitor in IB where if you have a stop loss, it'll exit, but you can't use that as a formula for an overall strategy or behavior, and we let you get very advanced if you need to. That's really, I guess, what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, so Tony, you can use those custom formulas. You just go to our website, you make sure you're logged in, and from there just go to the support tab and look for the custom formula little section, and that'll give you the ability to create new formulas. There's some documentation there as well that gives you some tips and tricks and such.
So we had the 10, we had the 4, and we had the 2, 4, 4. 10, 4, 2, 16, 17. So 17 gross points. I mean, cut that by a third.
Look at that, and it wasn't afraid to go short in this nice bullish day today, but it found and has the ability to find these little nuggets.
Well, because again, it has no, remember, that's the beauty is it has no bias. That's the key. It has all of the strengths of the human, but it takes the emotions out of it, but not in a bullshit way. Any other questions? I'm going to pop back into the presentation because our time.
Yeah, let me just answer Tony. So Tony, there is a way that you can do it because we have no, you can't do it because you're using an EMA. EMA is not in the software, just SMAs. But if you're talking about an 8-period SMA, then yeah, you could design a custom filter that identifies when that particular SMA is really being close to being crossed, and you can have a filter from that.
Okay. Guys, one of the ways that we help you understand all the things that you're listening to right now is, of course, we have this kind of information where you get to not just hear a salesperson, although I'm going to sell the hell out of you later, but the CEO and his right-hand man, Brad. So good right-hand guy, Brad.
Thanks.
But you also understand that we want you to succeed as an investor, whether you use trade ideas or not. That's the bottom line. And it is true. We don't want you to fail. We want you to succeed. It's better for everyone. And for you to succeed, Barry, who's in this room, has a trading room where he mentors, monitors, and provides the best practices examples of how to use trade ideas as an active investor. And people can watch it for free and interact. So I really recommend that. He's an incredible resource. And it's free because we don't want you to be hindered when you are learning. I've been doing the podcast with my good friend Jamie Hodge, but we also have guests, and I've had Brad last week, Dave Mabe the week before. We've had very positive feedback so far about the podcast. Once more, we really talk to people like people and not just like you're some sort of customer and a human resource. You guys are buddies. We want you to succeed. We're at the same dinner table. We're in the same place. We want a positive sum game, and this podcast is a great way to understand what trade ideas is all about. The bull market is not going to be forever. All of us veterans have seen the market come down, and the beauty is this: Holly will be there. She will be getting short. You must be prepared. And to be prepared, you must understand and not get lackadaisical. Getting lackadaisical is always believing that, of course, what you are seeing right now will continue to happen indefinitely. That's silly. You can be very, I started even saying being bullish or bearish. All those things just paint you in a corner. Be free. Be a free thinker and be prepared for what the market gives you. To be prepared, have techniques available when the market changes direction. Right, Brad?
Yep, I couldn't have said it better myself.
And this is what happens when you click on that link. So, whoops. We provide this service as a subscription-based service. For artificial intelligence, I cannot even imagine anything coming close. 10 points today, we're giving it away. This is what it costs, broken down on a per day basis, but you pay monthly, standard and premium, and we have all the different subscription options. Please take a look at /trade ideas. We're a one-of-a-kind product, guys, and you know, we're still cheaper than most. Plus, June Bloom, all caps, 15% off your first month or a year off of trade ideas. We're easy to get a hold of, and we're very interactive on social media. At Trade Ideas 1 is if you want to see a crazy CEO talk all sorts of nonsense, that's me. Trade Ideas is our corporate account, and of course, please like us on Facebook, and our phone number and email where you can get a hold of us at your convenience. My good friend Scott, how are we doing?
Good, and thank you. So the recording will be up later on tonight or tomorrow, and we'll give everyone an email heads up how they can find that on the playlist.
Awesome. Tony, thank you for everyone. Again, we're grateful for the time. We appreciate you being here, and hopefully we'll see you at another one. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.